The number one reason people get lost is because in their head, they lack direction. You either are going to ask for directions and then remember those directions to get you there, or you're going to use your map app on your phone and you're going to type in the address and then it's going to give you the directions, or you're going to get close to that area and then you got to ask some locals what are the directions to finish getting you there, and then you're going to get there. For example, Kim and we went to the Oregon coast here a couple months ago, and we were taking a trip all the way down the Oregon coast from the north end of Oregon all the way to the south end of Oregon. And along the way, there were some cool sights to see. I mean, gorgeous. Oh my goodness, so gorgeous. And we wanted to go to the tree where you drive through the redwood tree, like they cut out a tunnel, in the redwood tree. And we got super close to where it was at, but we couldn't find it. So we had to drive down to the gas station and ask, hey, where is this? And then they gave us the last little bit of direction to be able to make it. But if you notice, anytime you want to get somewhere, you have to have the directions of how to get there. So your mind needs directions. And so, yes, you can ask other people directions on how to get somewhere, how to do things. But remember that you have to be the pilot or the co-pilot. If you got God in your life or you have a higher power that you lean on and trust, then you can be the co-pilot of where are you going? And to be able to give yourself those directions every day. The number one reason people get lost is because in their head, they lack direction, meaning directions. Write up your directions. I think it just makes sense, right? It's you have to write up your directions. And this has been something I've been practicing for the last 12 years, is writing down the instructions or the directions of where I want to go. And then I read that as many times as I can throughout the week so that I can keep my head focused. And so if you do that, I know your precision of getting there will be at a higher quality. But a mind without directions or without instructions about where you're going is not going to get there anytime soon. It's just not going to get there. So if I came over to your house today, I'd be like, okay, show me your story about you. Show me your compass. Show me your story about your client. Show me the whole part about you getting your head wrapped around this. We're at the worst part financially ever in our life. We're struggling. I have no idea what to do. And I'm praying and I'm asking God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And the answer kept coming back. You need to practice visualization. You need a vision board. And I was like, why is God giving me a goal poster as an answer to my prayer? Now, hindsight's always 2020, right? You can look back and go, oh, now I see why God gave me that assignment to do a vision board. And when I looked back after years of understanding what he was teaching me, it's because there was a function of my mind that was not active. And it was the ability to visualize. It was not active. It was I could imagine things, but not really visualize them. And so when I first started visualizing, I really struggled. I couldn't pull stories together in my mind. I couldn't create an ongoing story and how it would happen. I mean, it was painful because it was so many blank spots in my head. And so what do I mean about visualization? Visualization is the ability to be, I can close my eyes or I can keep my eyes open, but that I could imagine a scenario and the details of that scenario. But this scenario is something that hasn't happened yet. Now, I can imagine the details of a scenario of things that has happened, because that's easier, because that's called a memory. That's a memory. But how do you stretch the mind so that you use memory to be able to create moments, right, that haven't happened? And the brain, and not let the brain like kick it out, because it's like, well, that hasn't happened yet. You can't imagine that. And see, there's a part of the mind where it's just like, well, that hasn't happened. That's not true. That's not possible, because that's something we've never done. How to hush the mind so that it doesn't destroy or disassemble what it is you just created in your mind that you want to have happen. Right? Like the ability to be able to open up the mind and be able to visualize your client, the kind of person you want to work with, having a discussion with you and listening to you explain your coaching program or whatever your program is called, and then be able to see them nodding their head going, yes, I want to do this program. And then you imagine them filling out the registration form, or that they go to the site, they click the button and they register. And then you can imagine them in the first appointment on a Zoom call, and they're so excited. And then you imagine them finishing their action steps. And then you imagine them getting closer to their goal. And then you imagine them getting their goal. Like that whole imagination, that's like a storyline. That is not pre-programmed in our head.